Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
There isn't anything real significant with the news up until we get into about 10 o'clock tonight on the New Zealand pairs. Other than that, it looks like it's going to be a pretty quiet day today. A couple orange folders earlier this morning with the euro, and one here at 10 o'clock with the US. But other than that, it doesn't look like it's going to be a big news day today. And let me see where else we have here. There's Eva, and she'll be showing up here shortly. I'll bring her over. And Eva, can you hear me? Test, test.
Excuse me. Good morning.
There you are. Good morning. And we are well on our way here. We no longer have our banking holiday, which we had yesterday with the Canadian dollar, so that should be back into full swing again. And let's go and check the our strength meters. Let's see, right now the New Zealand dollar is the strongest of all four time frames. The Canadian dollar is in the upper 3. The Aussie is in the upper 3. Euro's in the upper 3 on 30-minute. That's so we'd be looking at some strength on the euro possibly coming up. And the British pound, Swiss franc, and Japanese yen are the weakest. So we'll just keep that in the back of our mind as we go through the charts. And you see the charts now, is that correct, Eva?
Oops, sorry. Yes, I do.
Okay, good. All right, all right. Good morning, Waken. So, you're muted, okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at the UK 100 earlier today, and it looks like it came out with, we had the nice little pullback of the zone, but now it's kind of stuck right in this area. So really, until it can break through this range between this red bar and the green bar, I'd say we'll stay out of that unless you want to try and range trade this thing. There's about a $10 move in between the range. I have no idea if it's going to break out of the bottom or break up and retest the top up here. If it breaks up to the top, I'm looking at going probably not much higher than about this area right where my cursor is. If it breaks out of the bottom and can break through this green zone, then we're looking at coming back into the blue lower 25, which is about 15 pips away. But even after it breaks through that little green zone, it's only got about seven units to go before it's going to start running into some trouble. There is a green zone right down here where this real bright blue area is. But we'll keep an eye on it, see which way it breaks, see if we can find out. Anybody wants to keep an eye on that and call it out, let us know if we're out looking at something else in the process. In the meantime, we'll check the we have some 30-minute alerts. This was probably just came up here in the last couple of minutes. I'll check this one out. This is the British CAD. We had a nice little bounce arrow, but it goes right into a green zone. And the green zone, if we're looking at that, we're probably looking, this is in a downtrend, but we have this strong green zone right here. So not much to take with that right now. But I do like there was a bounce arrow. If we can find it on a little different time frame, maybe on a 15-minute, still the same thing. This zone is going to be, it's a higher time frame zone, which means it's going to take a little bit more energy to break through that one. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let me just put that one up. Actually, I'll take that one. That does look really promising to me. Here's the 30-minute. This is the New Zealand Swiss. Remember, we said that the Swiss was weak, New Zealand was strong. This one could be a possibility of a trade here. We're on a 30-minute chart. Here's a bounce. We have the bounce arrow. Here's the go on this one. Let's check our moving averages. Template load. I don't want to waste too much time in this so it doesn't get too far out of the way. All the moving averages are correct. Here's our arrow. And let's just check and see how many, which trend is this? It is in a downtrend. This would be a contra trend trade. So you have to be careful with that. And this looks like this was a nice down move. Came back, followed this 200 moving average, got broken. Everything else is starting to consolidate right here. And we're starting to get a breakout looking to the upside. So I do like this little move up to this direction. But we're going to use this for the reference. We're going to use, we're getting the break of this one. Here's the next one. So here's the trend. And so I'm going to take it from the upper range to the bottom range here. We get on a different time frame here. Put on the 15-minute, if I can do that. And so I'm looking at, oh gosh. This was pretty much the range it's been since the 20th. That's about 6 days ago. Today's Tuesday, Monday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. This was since last Thursday. It's come up and retesting the high from last Thursday. So how do I draw this one? I think what we're going to do is we're going to draw this from this last push up and see, well, we need to consider that zone right there. This is right up into the zone area. I don't know if there's going to be enough room to the upside or not. We have our 20 pips. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take it from this down to here for the Fibonacci's. I usually take it from the last red to the last green on the higher time frame. Here's our range. It's coming up into the upper 25, it looks like already. Here's the Sunday, Monday. This is this week's move right here. Well, that's today's move. This is the move for today, from yesterday's close to the today's close. It's not quite up in that upper 25%. This one could be a little bit of a challenge. Here's our bottom range. We know we're in a downtrend, so I'm going to bring a down arrow down here. This goes with our bag strategy. Change the color of that. I don't see how that got there. Make that one yellow. There we go. That's a little bit better. Here's our downtrend. Here's our upper 25% target. Now it's trying to break through this little wick right here. We have to look at this potential right with this area. And you can see that the top of this candle, it wicked up but didn't close above the top of this candle. So that's significant. Let's see. And there was our entry, our bag entry right here. I'd like to see a little bit more of a pullback because right now it's getting right up near the top of our 25% zone. It came right up here before and was rejected. Came back down. Now it's coming up and it looks like it's being rejected at a little bit lower level. This could be the beginning of our downtrend. And I'd like to see this thing come back. It already came back down to this 30, couldn't quite break it. Now it's retesting this. This could be the beginning of our W. Here's or the M pattern. Here's our strong move up. Here's the left shoulder of the M. Here's our middle of the M, come back up, form the right shoulder of the M, and then comes down, maybe gives us a couple little A's and V's all the way down to this level. I'd be looking at this more of a short eventually, but not right now. It's got to break through this. If it does break through this little wedge up here, I'd be looking at, that's only 3 pips. That's 11 up to the red zone. I just don't know it's going to have the punch to get up there. New Zealand, Swiss, let's double check that. New Zealand, Swiss, New Zealand strong. New Zealand strong to the Swiss, New Zealand strong to the Swiss. I would still want to be taking it to the strength of the New Zealand, which is the first currency of the pair. So we are looking for the strength to the upside. Let's get down on a little lower time frame and see what we have here. We had a 5-minute arrow as well. And that's only 6 pips too. It's a little bit tight. It's a little, they were kind of looking at near the upper end of the range, and I don't know that's going to have the strength to get all the way up. If it breaks through this little red zone, it's got this other little zone right up here that it's going to have to deal with. And our range just isn't quite there. I'll just mark this off. And this is a level on a level, so if it breaks this one, it's going to have to get through this, and I would say could see a little wick up in that area. Right now, I'm going to stay away from this. The moving averages are okay. I'd like to see a little stronger pullback to where the arrow entry was, which is the blue line, and then maybe get a little bit bigger pop up to the upside. It would have to come all the way back down before I'd want to be taking this thing. I want to see it get up to a high pullback, probably to almost to this 200 moving average, and then maybe take another shot at it. But I think that a lot of this move is already kind of gone, I think, at least temporarily. Yes.
I just wanted to let you know, Garvin said to let you know that the UK 100 is going to be following the US 30 up trade during the New York session because the overall trend is bullish, just so you're aware of that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Let's see. So the overall trend is bullish. So that would make sense. You did get a little bit of it. Right now it says kind of caught inside this zone right in here. And here's our 3 levels that we had that we drew from going to the upside. And actually that's from the down. That's the actually I drew the Fibonacci from here down to here. It retraced back about 38%, still looking like it wants to come down, but it's kind of in between. This is our range, the 2 blue lines. The range on this is about 34 units to $34 or pounds, whatever you want to call it. And if it breaks through the green zone here, we could have some possibility with the UK. Looking at the British pound, I believe the British pound was kind of weak, if I remember correctly. And British pound is on the weaker side on the higher time frames. So right now I'm looking, this might just be a pullback. You said the overall trend was up. Is that what they were saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. It's just not fitting the picture for me. Let's see what else you might have here. New Zealand, Swiss. We did look at that. I think. Yeah, we did look at that one. Still struggling with that. Not much there. I'm not going to worry about the 1 minute. I'll use the 1 minute maybe as I'm already looking at the chart. But if you look at a 1 minute, it's just you can see it's range on this. That's only 5 pips. It looks like a big range, but it's only 5 pips to the downside. With the British being weak, Euro being stronger, this thing could go to the downside on the 1 minute. But let's take a look at the 5 minutes, see what it looks like.
Sandrika's requested we have a look at the S&P also.
S&P, let's see, that'd be under this one here. A little bit early for the S&P for my liking. I usually like seeing that more closer towards the 9 o'clock hour. Let's take a look at this. And we have pretty well range bound right up here between a nice red zone. And there's not a lot of movement here. That's $4. Not even $4, about $4, almost $5 in between the red zone and the green zone. It is in an uptrend. I'd like to see a little bit more of a pullback, a little bit more commitment to the downside before I would try to trade this. Right now, it's still kind of going sideways with a very slow, gradual curve line up here. Difference between this move and then this move is quite different. These are the types of move I look for to start trading. These are the types of move I kind of stay away from because it's just very gradual. It's almost like that lazy river type of thing. It's nothing real committed, nothing real exciting. And all it does is make you spend a lot of time waiting for something to happen. I'd rather see something happen and then start reacting to it. So you can get in, get out, and get your pips for the day. Let's take a look at the German 30 while we're at the indexes. Oh, here's the NASDAQ. Well, that's it. There's probably going to be a lot of the same type of picture here. Strong move up, a little bit lazy coming down. Between the two green and red, that's $38. That's a pretty good size one. Pretty good commitment there. Pretty good range. Bounce, arrow, go, but it's going to go right up into this zone right here. Here's our trend line. Draw my moving averages before I get too far. Here's my moving average. The moving averages are pointing in the right direction. We have the green across the yellow, and everything's in the right direction. We have green. The yellow is just barely crossing over the arrow moving average. So it is in the right direction. We had a nice little move to the upside, came back down. Here's the trend line. Draw the trend I'll go from this point to here. And I'll draw another one to the upside. From here to here. As it's coming up to retest this trend right here. It's doing the retest just about now. From this point to here, we'll draw our fibs. And see where we fall within the trend. Right now it's making lower highs and higher lows. Here's the upper 25%. And if we get into a big wedge like this is where you can maybe get some trades as it goes from one trend line to the other trend line. But you have to be careful that you make sure that, because you're not going to get the same movement, the same range as you did way back here. You see the ranges are getting a little smaller and smaller as we go along. Let's get finish drawing the chart. Here's our upper 25. Right about to there, and that's right about where the trend line is. We could get a little bit, as this price comes up, if it breaks, it's going to come right up into this zone. If it can close above, it may take out this little red, but you have a level on a level here. That's not good for taking it long. And then for the downside, here's our lower 25. And so now this is really the new range that we're looking at from here to here. That's $27 move on the NASDAQ. Here's a nice little pushback to retest. Here's about 78% retracement of the big down move, and it could come back down and retest these areas right in here. So I'm gonna mark this for the higher time frame. And I'd be looking to see if we can catch it, maybe a nice little spike move coming down. If we redraw these fibs on this, these are our main zones. But now we can draw from here to here and back. You can see this is probably going to be about a 78% retracement of this whole move. But this is where you start getting the trend, where you see like here's a high, here's a low, here's a lower high, lower low, lower high, and then it could possibly come down to follow a trend line to the bottom, where you could get start getting some hits like this, forming a downward channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the measurement from this point to this point. You can see this thing came up right to here's the 76, here's the 88, came up it's a pretty deep retracement. Now I'm looking for this thing to start coming around and getting us a down as it comes through, breaking through these heavy blue lines, which is from the uptrend that we had. It's breaking out of the top, could come down. This is going to be the money zone right in here. If we can get it to come in, it comes down, breaks through here, pulls back a little bit, and then comes down and maybe it breaks this one, maybe come down to retest the upper level or this lower 25 zone here. So this one, it's not quite ready yet, I don't believe, but we'll keep an eye on this one.
Okay, we've got a couple of questions here, Al.
Okay.
First off, Mosin is saying, how about the pound US long on a 15-minute for a quick 5 pips? What are your thoughts on it?
The pound US, pound US. I'll find it first. Pound USD on 15-minute, you said?
15, that's a New Zealand you just opened.
New Zealand, I got the wrong one.
Yeah, it's the 15-minute.
Pound US 15-minute. There's the bound. Well, this is an arrow, but it's not a bad trade because we had this pullback first. For a long, you were saying? Could be a bank conduction possible?
Yes.
No, taking a long. Let's see. Well, this one's already pointing down, so I don't like that too much. Let me get the trends on here. Load. Everything's moving in the downward direction. We did get a nice little bounce off of this. 15-minute chart. Here's our move. Let's see what's the range of this whole thing here. 67 pips. There's a lot of pips there. Take it from here to here. We're in the bottom 25. Coming out of that. And that. There's the upper 25 to over here. I want to see on a 1-minute chart, I want to see the green crossing over the yellow. Has it done that yet? Let's see here. Actually, it has. So here's our 3 zones from the higher time frame. Let's mark that. Here's a 61. That one. There's that one. It is in the lower 25, came out, looking for it to come back in to retest it and then take it off. If we can get this thing to pull back to somewhere around this level, around the 1441.54 area, that could be a possible entry once we get the moving averages to cross back over again. I do like this. Let me take this objects, redraw my fibs. And we redraw. We have our major fibs for the major move to the downside. Now we're looking for it to break out. It breaks out of the 25 zone, comes back up. This is still heading. The 200 is still coming down, so that's going to be that's going to have to be my first target if I take this thing long. So I'm going to go from this point up to where the high is, looking for the pullback. And let's see where to go. There's the high. And why was hard to see these blue lines inside this blue zone here. Let me see if I can change the color of this so I can see it a little better. See if I make it orange and see if that'll help stand out a little bit. That helps a little. Let's see. I'm looking for a pullback coming back down, probably into around this level right in here. You can barely see it on my chart because of the colors, but that's the area right in there we're looking at. Well, trend line somewhere around to see if it comes back down. Right now it came back down into the 38. Pulled back, came into 38, looking for a possible entry to the upside. British US, where's the US with the British? Check that out here. US and British, they're neck and neck, neck and neck. he wants to get a little stronger on the 5 and the 15 and the 30. I'm liking the strength of the U.S. on this one. U.S.'s second currency, that's still the downside. I don't know if that's done yet. It is kind of fighting it though. And we have this red zone. If it can break the red zone, would there be enough room to the upside? That's only 3 pips there. I think there's going to be, I think if you wait on this one, it could be a little bit better entry, or wait for it to come back up and maybe retest this trend line here. If it can break through this part, then we can have this as a target. If it breaks the red, comes back up, tests this moving average, giving this one time to come on down. I kind of like seeing this one. I would rather see this one. This is kind of tight right here, but if it goes up, stop it right here. If it can go up and then retest this trend line for the 3rd time, that confirms the trend. And then maybe working at from here to this line. I like that. I would like that move a lot better. That would be 14 pips. There you get your 15 pips. Now it's already tested this trend line once. I'll call this the first bounce. If it comes back in, bounces again, all the moving averages stay in the same order. Because right now I think you could get into this thing and it may break this out and test that, but I think you're going to be looking at, it'd be a really, you could probably go for 5 pips on this, but you got to get through this thing. That's only 4, you got 4 pips, 5 pips at best to this and your spread. Where's our spread on this one? Our spread is the British USD.
No, it's only 0.6.
British US 0.6.
Yeah.
0.6. Yeah, that's usually a little bit more expensive pair. I would rather see a 3rd bounce on this. I mean, you could jump in. You could probably jump in with this. This is a strong move, but the problem is that the pound is still weaker to the dollar. At least it was. It did flip over here on the 5-minute. Hasn't flipped on the 15 or the 30. I think you still might be looking at one more pullback on that. It's not a bad. And if you can get this 3rd pullback, then you can probably look at this for a target. Came back to the 38, so your target then would be right up around in this area, right up in here. Using that for the target. I would say you can see where it came up, and right now the spread's bringing it right back down a little bit. If it can retest this arrow moving average, the blue one, you can maybe take a shot at it and go for a few pips to the downside. The British pound is starting to gain some strength. Not a bad possibility. It's just a little bit early, I think. There's no real strong confirmation yet. I could almost go with a bounce if it do a buy limit down here around the 4161 area, or maybe this 23 moving average. That'd be 4162. Do a buy limit and then have a tighter stop. Take a shot at that one. Trade, new order. Then we're going to go a buy limit, pending. A buy limit at 141.60. What would we say, 62? Place that. See if it comes out. Basically, we're looking right at this moving average right here, this 20 at the 23, this Fibonacci right there. And that's pretty much right on this trend line. Let it come back, come to you, and then take it. And then once we get into this thing, we'll go for a target of 4170. Modify that. Take profit 41.70. And we'll give it a 15 pip stop. See, it's at 62. We'll go 50. Let's go 52. Modify. The stop's in, the target's in. We get in, we'll keep an eye on it and just see if we get filled with it. I can work with that one. That could be a good call. It might be our trade for the day. It's been pretty slow so far. Euro New Zealand. Let's see.
I've got like 3 requests for different things for you to look at. So
Okay, all right. This one doesn't have anything yet. Okay, what are they?
okay, we've got the German 30, the US 30, and everybody's darling gold.
Everybody's darling gold, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, should we go with what everybody's doing, or let's just check this one? All right, that's real quick. That's in a green zone, 15-minute green zone. Oh, US 30. US 30, I don't have the US 30 on. Let's go with gold right now. We'll go gold has a 1 minute.
I thought that you were going to do German, no?
Well, I looked at German, it was already in a green zone, so I'll go back to that one. This one at least has an up arrow, bounce arrow, but right in this zone right here. This is coming up into this 1860, 1882. Still has a downward trend. It is breaking this trend right here. We have a trend from here to here. It broke that trend line, came back down, broke it, came back down, retested it. Now it's coming up into testing this point right up in here. I would be looking to see if this thing pulls back. I like this for the zone, for the downward range. Let me get my moving averages in here. Templates. Let's see, template, load. Moving averages coming into a good spot, and we're going to be looking at this area right here to see if it's going to, this is really the range that it's trading in, right in this area right in here. I take mine all the way down to the wicks because there were prices there. I change my colors back again. Here's my upper 25. Going right up into that area. I have to change my colors because it's hard to see them overlaying. Here's our fib lines with a major move. These will be our targets on the way down. If it comes back down, it pulls back. Right now it's coming up into this zone. I want to see it come up. I want to see it pull back, get out of that zone, come back down, retest the zone like it did. Here it was up in the zone. Of course, this is before it came all the way down. So this was new created, came up, tested it here. This was the test point. Rejected, came back down to fill that. So here's our nice drop. Came back up, retraced, dropped. Now it's coming back up to retest this area. This will probably come in to start giving us a trend, a little bit lower line. Let's say maybe even to like to the 88.2 area, which is halfway between. And we already had the bounce out of here, came back up. It is trending up here. It is a high, pullback, high, pullback, high. And then I'm thinking it's going to probably come back and retest this area right here. This is where all the action is. Came back in this area, came out, came back in the area, bounced around, came out, dropped back down. So this is the area that we're really focused on trying to get into. So if it can come up here, break out of the 25% range, that's testing the upper trend line. This is our second hit right here. This is our, that's the first hit. We'll want to see this thing pull back and get rejected. We are rejected from this one. This is where it broke to the upside. This is the origin. Now we're going to see if it's going to come back down and retest this area again. And let's see, we're on a 1 minute chart. I'm not sure there's going to be enough room here. If it comes back down into 61, pulls back, and the moving averages start to change over, then we could come back down to retest the lower part. It's not giving me any real clear signals right now. This is the range. This is the middle. This is our target zone. Came up. It's pulling back out. And gold can be a challenge. See what this thing looks like on the 15 here. Actually, I kind of like this a lot better. This is a little tight here. I like this move. But I'm going to redraw this. We're having here's the bounce off the 200. Came back down. I do like this area. It's a little bit better for a target. That gives us a little more room too, actually. It's $21. You see how this picture has changed a little bit on the higher time frame. Here's our anchor. Here's our hit. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. Here's rejection. This is right where we were looking at. Do we want to take this thing to the upside? And here's our Fibonacci move here. This is our nice strong move up, retraced, retested this area. Here's our range. See how it came back and retested the 50% of this move. Came back down, and this moving average is right here at the 50% line. Now this thing does look like it has some potential to go up. We had to pull back. Let's go to a 5-minute chart and see where the green line and yellow line are. Came back. This one crossed. Now it's starting to cross back over. But we have this trend right here. We have this little zone right here. I need to see a little bit of more confirmation. This is still consolidating right in this area. And we have a pivot low. So we really have a kind of a flat bottom on this trend. Maybe I'll take it up a little bit. Take it down. It did break this. You see where this low right here, where it closed lower right here at the 50 line. This one came down, penetrated it, but couldn't close below it. That means it still has some wires coming into this area. The key will be is if it can kind of break through this trend line, come up, wick, back, retest it, and then can come up, maybe take a shot at this area. They'll give you $23 move. That'd be a nice little move on the gold to the upside. But right now it's hitting this trend line, and I would not want to trend line with the zone, and the moving averages haven't quite crossed over. They are on the 1 minute. I'd like to see more of a pullback. Come up here, pull back, retest it. Mark these zones. Here's the 31, here's the 50. Here's the 61. Insert. Number 25. And the lower 25 is going to be way down here. Here's our range. Now let's get back over to what we were looking at. It's coming up and retesting this area. I'd like to see a pullback, come back up, and then try and grab it to the downside. I kind of like the downside almost better, or have a pullback. Looking at this as a buy. Okay, we have an arrow buy right here. We're on the 1 minute chart. I do like this from here to here. Looking for the pullback to 23%. I'd like to see a pullback into this zone. I want to see a pullback at least 23%. That's going to bring it right back down into, but keep the green not crossing the yellow. We can get across where the price can come back down into this area. We can maybe move this up a little bit higher, possibly. We can come back down into this shaded area with a pullback and maybe take it to the upside. It is breaking through the top here. But I'm going to expect it to come on up, break through, wick through, pull back, and then maybe take another run at it. Again, I'd like to take the trades on the pullback, not on the objects. See, it came up, wicked in there, it's pulling back. We're still in this other trade we set the trap for.
It's approaching.
It's pulling back. Yep, it's coming right into this, pulling right back into this. We're on the 1 minute. I wouldn't go for a whole lot. Let's see, that's 83 to 83, 83.30. That's not even a dollar move there. It's coming down into the 23. Moving average is still good. Green hasn't crossed over. We can maybe try doing a buy stop. I'm going to do a buy, look at a buy stop right above the 1883.64. I wouldn't go for more than $1 or $2. At the tops, I'd go for $4.
Al, when you're done with this gold, can you do a quick analysis of the GR30? There's a request in.
Okay.
Just your thoughts on where it could bottom out, or did the trend just change? We've got one of our attendees in it, and he's 200 pips to the negative. So,
okay, I'm going to take a shot at this one at the 0 line here. Trade. Let's see. Trade buy stop. I'll move this right down here. And if it comes up, and I'll be looking at a target probably up around this here 1885. So let me get this set up and we'll take a look at that one.
okay.
We just get in something here. All right, the British USD just triggered. No, that's the gold that's in there. Okay, let me get my target in here of I'm going to use 1885 for a target, see what we can get with that. I'm not going for a whole lot with this one. 1885. And my stop is going to be down here at the 1882. I should make it 80. I'm going to make that 0. Let's see where it looks like here on the chart. It's way down. That's way down here. Okay, yeah, we can probably tighten this one up a little bit. We'll keep it right about there. Okay, and we'll see what happens there. Now we're in that trade. We'll just see what happens. Keep an eye on it. We don't generally trade gold. I'm taking a little shot at that one. German 30, and what time frame were we looking at? German 30, and we are long or short on this one.
He hasn't said. I asked the question, but
One thing about the German 30 is making new all-time highs from what I'm seeing. At least I looked at a higher time frame, saw nothing higher than where it is right now. So I'm looking at this thing's probably going to start taking a little bit of a, there'll be some profit taking starting to come up with this one.
he's long.
He's long. Well, the fact is making new highs. I mean, there's potential that could go up even higher. We do have a trend right here. Look at these little wicks right here, from here to there. That held. So right now we're coming right into a little bit of an upper channel. Whenever things start making new highs, check for the new highs where it's making a channel, and you can see where here's a channel on the upside, and you can have a channel to the downside on the bottom. And I'm going to be looking at probably the gold trade is just about there. Don't want to lose sight of that. Here's your channel, 30-minute. Let's go to 15 minutes, see where this thing comes in. Here's the anchor. Here's the near hit. Here's the hit, rejection. Here's the top, rejected. Coming back down. It's testing this right now. If it can break here, it's probably going to head to look at this area. So this is, and we have a little bit of a wedge coming. Here's a down move, came back up, flat top. And here's a low, here's a equal low. This is a nice little zone. If it can break through this zone, come back up and retest this channel may be getting a little bit on the older side, and it may not, it may be fizzling out, but it could, right now it's kind of it's a crapshoot whether or not it's going to break to the bottom, maybe test this one, but it's going to go back up and make a new high again. In fact, it's where it is right now, it's kind of liking the idea that it may start to break down to the downside. And I'm in both of these trades right now. How are we doing pip-wise? So 5 and 2. The gold's at 5, 4. I'm going to pull my gold trade off. I'm okay with not $29 on that. We're in the British USD. Let's check that before we get too far away here. See where the pound is. Right now we're buying. The pound should be strong to the US dollar. So far it is. Let's check our chart here. Pound to the USD. Pound USD. The USD is still stronger. Pound to USD. USD is still stronger. This could be USD is now starting to get stronger there. It's still there stronger. So pound's still weaker to the dollar. I don't like the idea that we're in a long on this one. I keep an eye on these trades here. It broke, retested, got us into the trade. You see how it broke this trend line? We are in a buy here. It broke the trend line. I think this thing could start just retesting it. It broke, came back in, got us profitable. Now it's retesting. This thing really may want to be going short. It may be going a little bit deeper into this zone. I don't like the fact that it's not, that trend line's holding, so I'm going to close this trade out. Reassess. This thing looks like it may want to go short. Let's go back to our German 30. This could be the same type of thing. It could be breaking through the bottom. Now the euro, I would check to see where the euro is with the German 30. The euro is strong, euro is strong, euro is strong, euro is strong. That'll give me rise to think that the German 30 is going to be a little bit weaker, which is where it looks like it wants to break to the downside. And if you're long on this trade, I'd be real careful right in this area. Let's take a look at our moving averages are now pointing down. We have the crossover, the yellow and the green, crossed over the arrow, and these are all pointing down right now. And it's about to break through this green zone, and then I'd be looking at more going short on this one. Let's draw the Fibonacci's on this, see what we have. Go to the higher time frame. We don't have a red zone up here yet, so that means it could still keep going higher. In fact, you probably don't want to go short until you get a zone up there. Let's see if there's anything on the 5-minute. Oh, there's one. Okay. We have something there. Here's a drop, consolidate, drop, basing, drop, and it probably come up to a retest. So let me see where this green zone came from. We know we have some red zones up here. Here's the green zone. Let me see where the other one is. I'm just going to mark this so I can see where it is on the other time frames. Still there. I like this move right in here. So I'm going to draw that. I'm on a 15-minute chart. I'm going to draw this uptrend because it isn't an uptrend. There's no question about that right now. Here's the upper zone. Here's your upper 25. Here's your lower 25. And the question is, what's it going to do when it breaks through this area right in here? Is it going to bounce? Is it going to come deep in here, come back out, bounce to go up, back up again? In fact, it's breaking this trend line. I'd be real careful with that. Let's mark my blue zones. And these are your target zones for the down move. It's already broken through those. Here's the bottom one. I think it could go down lower, but I don't think it's totally done going to the upside. I would not be surprised to see it retest this area. This was a strong move down, came back up, retested. Redraw this Fibonacci on here for the extension. Object list, Fibonacci, pull these off. Now we have here's the drop basing. So we're going to see where the pullback was on this. Here's the drop. This is where it first came out of that zone. Came back up to retest the 50% line. Came back down. So breaking is testing the 0 line right now. If it breaks the 0 line, the downward target would be in this area. Let me just use this. We have this zone from the other area, but we would be looking at a downward target. I would be looking at 52.38, this area right in here. Strong move down, pull back, 38. Here's the 0 line. It's struggling with this. That would be your first target right here. Would be your first target if you took the trade off of this retracement. Formed a zone, now build a zone there. So has some strength to that side. And we're trying to get through this green zone. But once you get through this green zone, you've got this area right here. And so this could be the next target right to the downside. I would kind of like that. but I'm not going to be ready to take this trade yet. Go to a 1 minute chart, see what that looks like. Expand it out. And you can see where it's bouncing right off of here. It's coming back up again. It's going to retest this trend line. So right now you have a little bit of a trade, a little basing right in here. That's about $11 move, or 11 unit move. If you went long, you're taking some heat on it. That doesn't mean it's not still a good trade for a long. I mean, the overall trend is up. So I can't fault you for that one. And just remember, when you have upward trends, you want to try and catch the pullbacks, not the breakouts. I've never been very successful. Well, for the most part, I'm not successful with breakout trades. I'm better off waiting for the pullback, get in, and that way you kind of know where your targets are. I would be looking at this as going to be a target, this moving average right in here. And that's right by that 23% retracement. Let's see here. See how the green came up? It came right up to the yellow, couldn't cross over. It came up to the yellow, couldn't cross. We had a little bit of a cross right here. Now it looks like it's going to give it back up again. I basically favor this to the downside right now. If you are in a long, you can always take an opposite position if you're to stabilize your long position and maybe try and catch the short position and then take another position long once it gets down below and turns around. That way you don't have to take the stop out loss, but you're going to be putting more risk at risk by doing that. We'll keep that in the inventory here. Gold sell. We had to have buy on the gold too, I think, didn't we? Let's check and see where gold's at. For those of you who may still be in it. I did have a buy on that, I think, didn't I? Yeah, and now it's turning around. Oh boy, let's see. Now we're back onto gold. Across the trend, broke out, head fake, just got a little bit right there, came right up into that target zone. And now it's sort of range bound. It's right in between this wedge. The upper trend broke out, head fake, came back down. Hasn't quite tested the bottom one. It actually did break through here, the bottom. It's still kind of range bound right now. I wouldn't take that sell signal off of that. I even think it'd still go on up.
Ricky's saying there's a possible sell on the US Swiss.
US Swiss. That's over this side here. Let's see what that possible sell. Let's see where our ranges are. We are in a downtrend. Here's our 15-minute chart. Here's our down move. Drop, base, drop, coming back up to retest. Moving averages is flat. I'm thinking you're probably going to look at some consolidation on this. UK M5 buy. We were talking about that one earlier, weren't we?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
UK buy. Yeah, this is one that we were looking at. It's pulled down. We remember looking to try and see if it was going to tap the trend line. It did break, but couldn't go very far with it. This could be, looks like it's going to try and come back up and retest this area. Pulled back kind of deep. Here's a trend line. Here's a low. Here's a higher low, higher low. we have this zone right here, so we have to hold off on that one. Let's go back to this US Swiss and see what we got. 15-minute chart, drop, base, drop, coming back to the retest. So we're looking at, where's our moving averages, put those in. Consolidation, this would be your target. If you take this thing long, here's your target. Coming back up into this area, here's our main trend. Here's where everything kind of crossed over. Let's go from there to here. Here's our trend line. Here's our high. Here's the first retest of this area. Now it's coming back up into the upper 25. That's the target zone. Here's our trend line. See if it comes up and tests the trend line. We could get another nice little pullback. This is a strong move back down. Here's a rally, base, rally, right up into the supply zone. Here's our crossover. Here's our green cross to yellow. So we don't want to be taking it short yet. That's on the 15-minute. Go to a 5-minute, see where things are at, coming up into the zone. Again, we're looking at just retesting this trend line. Crossed over the 200. I'd like to see this thing come back down and cross and start coming back down again. Let's get our trend lines in there. Here's our target zones. There's a downward target there. These are the 3 zones we're looking at. It's coming up. Let's go and start planning the downward trend. So once it comes up and tags this, we get a strong move down. Now we're looking for the pullback. Strong move down, come back down, cross through this close, and then we can start looking to try and catch this downward trend coming down. So I'm going to remove the moving average, or remove the Fibonacci off of this one from the main. Move those, keep the lines. And now I'm going to be looking for the trend to, I'm looking for it to come up here, tag it, come back down, close below this first blue line. And that's where I'm going to start from, wherever this thing peaks out and it pulls back down below here. That's where I'm going to start that first trend. I'm looking for the pullback. Be looking for the pullback here, and then looking for the trend to go from here down to test. That'd be my first target right here. If it comes back down and closes below this blue line, I'm going to be looking for it to come back up, give us a lower high, and then come back down, give us a lower low. That puts us down into this zone, and then we'd be looking at the lower 25, which we didn't draw that, but it would be around here someplace. So that's what I'm looking at for this move. See them come up, retest it. Now for breaks, all bets are off. Comes up here in the blue zone, tags it, pulls back down below here, and with the 20 with a pullback. Now if I can measure from here to here, back to here, I'm going to be looking at probably at least 25%, 23% pullback. Here's my line. Here's the 23% line right here. Can actually even make this thing pull back even a little bit lower. I want to say at least pull back to 23, somewhere around in this area. 23, 38 is good. If I can get it to hit the 38 and we'll just wick up there, I'm real happy with that one. But somewhere in this zone, we've got to find out where this thing comes up here, wait for the pullback, the drop, pull back, and then we start taking our trades. UK 100, 5-minute sell. Let's take a look at that while we're waiting for this thing to figure out what it's going to do. We have some time to wait on this one. By the time this thing pulls back, the green should be crossing the yellow, pulls back, and not cross back again, and then we have a trade. Let's go to the Where are we at here? How's our time doing here?
We're at 8:30.
Oh, it's 8:35. Okay, so 25 minutes still. Let's see. Let's go with. We'll keep this one in the queue. We have any 15 minutes on this one. So we had an alert for the UK 100. Let's see how this thing's doing. Still kind of range bound right now. Here's a little head fake. Came back down and oh, it's going to go short. And everybody jumps in. Oh, no, it's not. Came back down, retested this again. So right now, this thing's just range bound right now. You could be bouncing around in this thing all day long. I don't really like this one too much, right? At least not yet. Put that one off. Anything else? German 30. I guess we probably take another look at that one. You see that where this thing, I was looking for the bounce, but when we got this, but we didn't take this one long right here. Now I say it came back down. Right now you're looking at this. Let me redraw this whole thing here. Don't despair if you're in it long because it still could be coming back up for you. We are getting the cross back over. Here's the green cross the yellow. Here's our move up, came back down, retested. Here's our 38% or 70. Here's our nice little pullback that we have before. This is what I look at for the turnaround. We have a move up, comes back down, retest this area, can't break to that low. This is your wave 1, wave 2, and we could be looking at a wave 3 going up here. But right now we're kind of range bound inside. Oh, what's that? German 30, 1 minute. We just happen to be. We're not on the German 30. Where's the German 30? I thought I was on that. Let's redraw this, the German 30. Strong move down. Here's our 2 zones. Where's our range here between this and here? We have a 25 unit move. Got the crossovers. Here's the bounce. This thing could still come up and retest this area. We do have a bounce arrow go. There's a good issue. This could be good right here. We're on 1 minute though. I don't like that part. Let's get to a higher time frame. So we're going to mark this 1 minute bounce right here. That'd be an early entry if you can get in, if you wanted to do that. This is forming a trend here. We had the crossover. This would probably be the potential target on this one right here. That's that'd be about $7 move. I can maybe go with this one actually. I'd like to see a little higher. Let's see where the euro is with the German. Check the euro. Euro's strong, euro strong, euro strong, euro strong. Generally, I would think the German 30 would be weaker with that. Of course, we're on a 1 minute. That's probably why it was weaker on that down move. Now, if it starts switching around, goes back into a buy. Let's see where we are in a higher time frame. Fibonacci. Again, we're making new highs, so we're probably buying pullbacks on this one. Here's our moving average. Bounced off. It's checking that one out. Have a little bit of a crossover. The green's crossing the yellow on this, so this is on a higher time frame than 1 hour. Let's go 15 minute. And it's still crossed over. 5 minute. Still crossed over, although it's trying to challenge it. This could be a drop, pullback for a lower drop. Strong move down. Here's a retracement. Draw our fib off of this area from here to here. Here's a retracement. Here's the 38%, wicked up to 38%. Now we're in the green zone, so you have to be cautious with that. But the euro is still strong, which means the German 30 should be weak. Let's see if that's right. Yeah, euro's strong, which means the German 30 should be weak. So I'd favor it to the downside with that. This could be a nice little move, actually.
I've got a message for you from Edens. He says, I'm in profit with the German 30 on my second trade. Thanks. It's because of you.
Oh, good. Yay. I like hearing that. I like hearing when people are profitable because it's things I say, not because of things they're losing because of things I say. I don't know all the answers. I make plenty of mistakes myself, but it's nice to know that some techniques do work. And let's see, we do have everything moving. 1 minute, it is moving back up again. This could have just been a strong pullback, but we have to kind of play this one as we see it. See, this was the high. There was a higher high here, so let me see it here. I tell you, I've got to go with this. I've got to go with this higher, where the high in this pivot. We got this trend line right here. Let me redraw this. Oh, the template. Here we go. This. Get into a higher time frame. See where these. When these things make new highs, at least for a high that for as far back as you want to go, I mean, you might have to go back. You may go back 5 or 6 years before you get to another high like this. You almost have to just see where the last significant low was on a higher time frame. So here was a high over here. This one was pretty much even. This one made a new high. This one made a new high. So I'm going to use this point up here. This was the last high. I'm going to pull this one back to see if there's a trend going on here. Here's the anchor. Here's the hit. Here's the hit. So I think this thing could start getting to be a little bit exhausted here. But in this world, you just never really know. I like this little channel in here. It is respecting the 62 on this one. It's respecting this as the trend line that's following. It came down, bounced it, came back up. This channel right here between this blue and the orange is still holding, although we have to cross over the yellow and the green on a higher time frame. That's not going to be good for a long. Right now, I'd be looking pretty much at pullbacks, at least until it gets out of that range. I think it's going to break this thing out. In fact, this is a new high. Drop, base. See, I like this area right here. Here's the high. Here's the low. Here's the pullback right into the 50%. And now it's challenging this area right here. If this can hold, or if this line here, this zero line doesn't hold, then we're looking at the pullback, the extension of this area down in here. So this would be my target to the downside.
Al,
Right here about the, yes.
You've got some weird background noise.
I believe it's a vacuum cleaner, I'm afraid to say.
Oh,
Okay. And I have And
I
I
thought
have
it
no
was
control,
you back
and I have no,
in your
and I
mic.
have no control over that. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to live with that. I can, if it's really annoying, I can mute my mic when I'm not talking.
No, that's okay. I thought it was your mic. I thought you were getting feedback
Well,
from your mic.
well, it's not beyond the realm of possibility, but I'm pretty sure that you're hearing the vacuum cleaner. Let's see here. Yeah, I would look at, if this thing breaks the zero, we're looking at this as a target. And right now, see how this, again, see how the 5-period moving average came up on this pullback, but it hasn't crossed the yellow. But this thing can come back down and cross below. Let's go on a 1-minute chart here. Did the noise stop?
Yes, it did.
Yep, that's what it was. Sorry about that, folks. No, okay, see, the green crossed the yellow. I'm on a 1-minute chart. This is about as fine-tuned as you can ever get with it. It crossed over. Now it's going up. Here's the pullback. Now the green's crossed back down again. Here's a little, it's making, here's, you have this little high area right in here. Oh, come on. Where's that? Pretty sure has 1 minute. Let's continue with this one. Here's a rectangle. This little zone right here, here is the drop, base drop, came back and retested this. This is a significant zone right in here. Now this isn't exactly Fibonacci, but you'll see where the moving average is right there. There's a Fibonacci right there. We have a drop. We have a little trend coming up, wicked up. Now it's still holding this trend. If this trend line here, and it looks like it's being broken right now. There's your trend on that one. Here's your, here's a high, here's the trend. And it came back down, broke. Here's a, but it's got some, I think it might have some downward pressure here. We have the cross back over. And the target on this, again, like we said, the target would be all the way down. If you just look at this little move up, now this isn't a real strong move, but it is a move. Let me move this Fibonacci here, objects. Actually, this one, move up here. Here's a pullback. This thing could start going back up again. Let's get, this is gonna be the key right here. What's gonna happen right in this area with this trend, this lower trend line? It broke it. Is this a head fake to go back to the upside, or is this going to be a break to the downside? Our moving averages are in the right, here's, we got this high up here. We got the trend line. We're kind of at a decision point right now. Here was a bounce arrow. This is only 1 minute. So this one doesn't hold a lot of weight. Although this is an index, so. I think I still like it to the downside. But I don't want to take it while it's in this zone. It's because obviously there's some buyers coming. Buyers came back in, pushing it back up again. Sellers are pushing it back down. There's a lot of indecision right in this point. Once it can break through this, boy, I'm almost tempted to take this thing short. Where's our euro? Let's see where the euro is. Euro strong, euro strong, euro strong, euro strong. That should put the indexes weak. I'm going to move this thing out of the way, delete that one. I'm going to look at this for the down move. It came back up, retested this. Now I'm looking at this move here. Down to here. This is pretty tight, but nonetheless, pull back to the 30, pull back this little pullback right. This was the first pullback. I don't know if you can even see this. It's so small. It's starting to widen a little bit here, but it's still finding the buyers coming in. German 30 sell 1 minute. I'm going to take a shot at this one to the short side. 0.03 I'll go with on this one. So. And my target is going to be pull back to the 38. My target is going to be down here to around the 38. So my target is going to be right about in this area, 15,527. $527. There's my target. 70, stop at 15,539-ish. And I'll just get out of harm's way, and then I'll set it. Sometimes I set these things too close, and no one gets me out. 15,539. Modify. So my target doesn't need to be quite that high. We can just put it right on the, well, right now it's on the other side of this upper wedge. You can see it's making, we can actually move this thing over. So we're all the way down to 1 minute chart, so we're really kind of micromanaging this thing. Here's our lower trend line. It's dropping point, it's dropping down, it's getting deeper and deeper. So right now I'm pretty much following this trend line right here, this orange one, the upper one. As the moving averages are pulling away a little bit further, this you can see it's starting to pull away further and further. And that should almost allow me to have the arrow moving average being my, have my stop above that. You probably tighten the stop a little bit. Again, it's not through this green zone here, so it may not be a real quick drop, but the euro was stronger, which should drive this thing down a little bit weaker. Here's the arrow. This is a 2 minute arrow. It's right there. And just give it time and see what happens with it. It's either going to win or it's not. Ultimate target was this. This is my target zone right here. I can actually slide that over 15,496-ish. As long as this keeps getting wider and wider, this is more, I'll probably keep my stop. I'm just going to leave my stop where it is right now until it gets, until I can get a close below this level here. If I can get a close and out of this green zone, then I'll move my stop. Oh, 1 minute trade alerts here. And we got about 5 more minutes. We've got to wrap it up here pretty soon. Right now you can just let this thing breathe. Yes, say that again, Eva.
Johnny is saying that the pound US has a strong move down on the 15.
Pound US. We're in this one. We'll keep an eye on this. Pound US. Huh? Do I have this one? Pound US. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, we did play that one. Let's see. Was I short or long on that one? Pound, yeah, I was on a long on that one. Pound US. I got out of that. Whenever I got out of that because I saw that retracement to back to the trend line. That's why I got out of that one.
Yeah, there you go. Good job. Good call.
German 30 still working that. This one's still working its magic here. And we're profitable. And I just got my target. Boom. There. Whoa, look at that.
Wow, look at that.
That's a good one. That's a good one to end the day on.
Yeah, I'd say. Why are they all melting all of a sudden?
Good question. It's getting on to 9 o'clock. Why would that be? I have no.
Yeah,
Was there an announcement?
The S&P
Was-
did the exact same thing.
Did it?
Yeah, I bet you they all did. I bet you all the indices just kind of melted.
Where's our Bitcoin today? Let's see what Bitcoin is. I think that we're going to call that a good one to stop on. I've got hit my target. And let's see, where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin is still 30. This one's still kind of struggling a little bit to get back up to where it was. So this may still be some buying opportunities on this.
Yeah.
If you believe in the concept. If you don't believe in the concept, just stay away from them. This will drive you nuts if you don't. So with that, I think we're just going to go and wrap it up. Jackie should be over in her room today at 9 o'clock. I'm not going to be there. I got some things I got to do this morning. But again, thanks everybody for. I'm just going to close this up now. I'm not going to get any more trades to be able to take here. All I can say is keep the trend in your favor, keep the wind to your back, stay green. And we'll see everybody tomorrow, same time, 7:30 to 9. See you then.
Yeah. See you guys all tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.